In this video, we are going to discuss why we think Victor Osimhen might be in serious trouble and why we think Chelsea FC may be the club to help him out. Victor Osimhen might be the most dangerous striker in the world, but something is terribly wrong. Why does the most feared striker in football always look alone? This is the story of how a boy from Lagos became Europe's most terrifying striker and why the teams around him keep failing him. Imagine carrying the hopes of an entire team, every match, every attack, every goal. Now imagine what happens when the man carrying everyone can no longer carry himself. This is the story of one of the most feared strikers in football today and the price of being unstoppable. If this video is getting you heated up, consider clicking the subscribe button to support us as we make more of such videos. There are stadiums where legends are made, and then there is Anfield, where dreams either survive or collapse under pressure, and they usually collapse under the pressure of Anfield. On March 18th, 2026, one man carried the hopes of an entire club. From the blast of the whistle, the Liverpool team came out with fangs and claws. Remember that Mike Tyson quote, "Everyone has a game plan till they get punched in the face." Yes, Galatasaray came with a game plan. They wanted to destroy Liverpool as they confused them in the first leg. But then, this was Anfield. At Anfield, your game plan counts for nothing. It is something about the 12th man. It is the atmosphere. It is the belief. It is in the air. When the stormy waves of Liverpool's deadly attack started, it became obvious that no game plan would survive the onslaught. Then it happened in seconds. The challenge, the fall. Was it a fracture or something worse? Or was it mind games? Was it self-preservation? Was it a foreboding of what was to come? Did he feel his team would not cope with Liverpool's intensity and needed an alibi? Without Osimhen, Liverpool attacks, chaos, goals. When Osimhen left the pitch, something else left with him. Belief. Was it just injury, or the moment a lone warrior realized the battle could not be won alone? What really happened at Anfield? Before the Champions League light, before the millions, before the fear defenders feel when they see him, there was a boy in Lagos who refused to stop running. Victor Osimhen didn't grow up dreaming of comfort. He grew up chasing survival, street markets, dust pitches, and survival teaches one thing better than football ever could: relentlessness. Not polished, not perfect, but unstoppable. Poverty, disappointment, struggle, long before the stadium lights, long before Europe knew his name. The journey of Victor Osimhen almost ended before it even began. Even getting selected for Nigeria's youth team was a battle, a brutal one. The dream was to play for the national side at the 2015 FIFA Under-17 World Cup. But first, he had to survive the trials. And those trials were chaos. Hundreds upon hundreds of young footballers arrived with the same dream, to wear the green and white of Nigeria. The Lagos screening ground was overflowing. So many players had gathered that Osimhen couldn't even get a chance to show what he could do. No opportunity, no minutes, nothing. If he wanted another chance, there was only one option left: travel to Abuja. But even that came with another obstacle: money. His family didn't have it. Yet somehow, his father encouraged him to go. A few scraped together naira, just enough for the journey. The trip itself was exhausting. 10 hours of travel across the country to Nigeria's capital, chasing a dream that still offered no guarantees. When he finally arrived, nearly 900 players had gathered for the trial. 900, each one fighting for the same few spots. Day one came. His name was never called. He watched as player after player stepped onto the pitch while he remained on the sidelines. For a boy who had already travelled so far just to be there, the silence was crushing. Then came day two. Finally, a coach waved him over. "You have 15 minutes." That was all. 15 minutes to prove he belonged. 15 minutes to show that the journey, the sacrifice, the struggle meant something. Osimhen understood the moment instantly. There was no room for fear, no time to play safe. "I knew the only way to impress them was to run," he would later write in the Players' Tribune. So he ran, he pressed, he fought for every ball, and then he scored, once, then again. 2 goals in 15 desperate minutes, but when the final list was posted, his name was not on it. Just like that, the dream collapsed. He had traveled across the country. His father had sacrificed what little the family had. He had given everything on the pitch, and it still wasn't enough. Devastated, Osimhen began preparing to leave Abuja. He and the friend who had traveled with him started making plans to return to Lagos. It was over. For a young boy who had grown up fighting through hardship after hardship, it felt like life had delivered yet another cruel blow. Then suddenly, something strange began happening. The under-17 team doctor had noticed something. He remembered a player who scored 2 goals in just minutes, yet that name was missing from the final list. Where was the boy? The doctor raised 2 fingers and called the attention of the coaches. 2 goals. 2. An alert was sent out across the training ground. "Someone find this boy. Someone find Victor Osimhen." By then, Osimhen was already preparing to return to Lagos. He believed the dream had died. But fate had other plans. Those 2 fingers changed everything. Soon, the boy who almost walked away from Abuja would step onto the global stage. At the 2015 FIFA Under-17 World Cup, the world finally saw what those crowded trials almost missed. 7 matches, 10 goals, a tournament record. Nigeria lifted the trophy, and Osimhen finished as the competition's top scorer, announcing himself to the world. Today, the same boy who almost left Abuja unnoticed now leads the line for Galatasaray and stands among the most feared strikers in world football. But his story will always remind us of something powerful. Sometimes destiny doesn't arrive with applause. Sometimes it arrives quietly, just before you give up. This mindset helped him through the hell of injuries at Wolfsburg and Lille. He learned to fall and get up there. He became a beast, and he thought he was at the top of the world. But then, Napoli changed everything. In Napoli, Osimhen became something terrifying. He wasn't just scoring, he was hunting, pressing like a midfielder, running like a winger, finishing like a killer. During Napoli's title run, Osimhen contributed to nearly 40% of their goals, a striker, carrying an entire system. But at the end he was discarded and even had a clause in his contract with Galatasaray that he would not play in Italy for 2 years. How does a club ostracize the only player strong enough to take them to unimaginable heights? What really happened? Some strikers finish chances. Victor Osimhen creates them, chases them, and sometimes begs for them. Watch him closely. He is not just a striker, he is the attack, the pressure, the energy, the hope. In the 2025-26 season, Osimhen contributed to over 40% of Galatasaray's goals. One man, carrying a giant club. Even when Nigeria was winning, frustration boiled over. It showed in his altercation with Lookman. To most fans, it looked like anger, but to athletes, it looked like exhaustion. The exhaustion of a striker who feels alone. Not a big deal, but the media noticed. The media noticed the wrong things. They missed the real issue. He expects service because he gives service too. He goes the extra mile because he knows no other way. He gives 110% every single time, in every single match, whether he's well or not, whether he is in the mood or not. He is the last-born who has the attributes of the firstborn. He should be the pampered one, yet it is him pampering others. But when you have given all your blood, sweat, life to others, and you don't get equal measure of appreciation, you get exhausted. That is when the signs begin to show. That is when the energy drops. That is when his heat map shrinks. His kilometers on the field reduce. His impact slowly disappears. But that impact was not appreciated until that freak incident at Anfield. A regular one-on-one jostle with Liverpool's Konate. Osimhen's arm knocked by Konate's knee. It wasn't a very rough challenge. There was contact, oh yes, but not anything Osimhen had not encountered before. He even said so in his interview with Carter Hayfe a few days later, when he said he had experienced worse knocks in his career, and that the arm knock wasn't the worst. So why the bust-up with Szoboszlai after he went down after the knock from Konate? Szoboszlai accused him of slowing the game down intentionally by pretending to be injured. Too many emotions came crashing together. He was here giving his blood, his sweat, his life. He was facing an unforgiving Liverpool wave. He was down and needed to rethink the game plan. And here was this crazy active Liverpool player claiming he was time wasting. Everything was going to hell. For the next 30 minutes, he was almost invisible during play. He tried, but nothing was working. Liverpool were crazy. The truth dawned on him, and it was exhausting. When Osimhen left the pitch at Anfield, Galatasaray collapsed. Without him, pressing drops, attack disappears, opposing defenders relax. Liverpool suddenly had space, time, freedom, and this raised a dangerous question. Did Osimhen leave because he had to, or because he understood what was about to happen? Elite strikers understand something fans often forget. Football is also survival. Careers can collapse in one disastrous night. Even injured, Osimhen was still fighting for standards, fighting for effort, fighting for the team he wished he had. His fight with Szoboszlai may not have been in anger against the Hungarian. It probably was frustration at what he was going through. He probably saw Liverpool's intensity and understood this was the end for the team. He probably knew what was coming, and in the frustration, he lashed out at the person he felt was preventing the world from seeing his pain and frustration. The Liverpool players saw a time-wasting tactic. He saw the end, and the end seemed too final. He did the same thing to Ademola Lookman during Nigeria's match with Mozambique, even though the Super Eagles were leading by 3-0. In that match, his passion took over, despite the fact that Nigeria was already leading by a long margin. He spoke in frustration when Galatasaray narrowly lost to Juventus in the last round. He could feel the pressure, the intensity that was coming. Something inevitable was about to happen. You felt it coming, yet couldn't do anything to stop it. He has been speaking, but no one has been listening. His injury at Anfield would not have stopped him on a good day. He is built different. He has faced worse. So why this one? Why did he switch off during the Anfield match, despite the fact that he in reality could have continued? He knew something we all didn't, and he was not going to get himself damaged and end up empty-handed at the same time. There was a high likelihood that he could also have become more injured after that. His next move was more of a power move for survival than the substitution suggested. Self-preservation on his mind. Every great striker eventually reaches a moment, the moment when talent outgrows its surroundings. Imagine Osimhen in a system where chances are constant, creativity surrounds him, responsibility is shared. What would that player look like? Not the lone warrior, but the complete number 9, faster, deadlier, supported, unstoppable. Because history remembers strikers differently. Some are heroes, some are icons, but only a few become legends. Victor Osimhen is already feared. already unstoppable, already one of the most dangerous strikers in football. But the real question is not how good he is. The real question is, who will finally give him the team he deserves? Chelsea FC has been racking up bad result after bad result recently, brutally suffering defeats in the hands of Arsenal in early March, PSG in the Champions League, and most recently Everton in the Premier League. Chelsea is a team that desperately needs a true number 9. Why they have not figured out that they have the missing piece to their formation still beats the rational mind. With Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo and Cole Palmer feeding Osimhen from the midfield and good service from the wingers, Chelsea would find their spark. Osimhen is looking for that team that will give him the kind of service he needs to be truly spectacular. Chelsea is looking for that perfect poacher. This is a need made in football heaven, and the solution is just there, waiting to be explored. What comes to mind is the need that Man U had when Sir Alex Ferguson went looking for Van Persie. Man U did not have a true striker and had very few options. Van Persie had scored 30 goals for Arsenal the previous season. Sir Alex did his thing to get Van Persie into the Man U squad, and then crazy things happened. And Manchester City had just won the previous league ahead of Manchester United, so it was Sir Alex trying to get his place at the top of the perch back. He pointedly instructed key guys like Scholes, Giggs, Kagawa and Rooney to always pass the ball to Van Persie, otherwise he would bench them. A team that had Rio Ferdinand, Scholes, Rooney, Giggs, Evra and the likes needed a real striker to help them get the league. They knew what that meant. They followed his instructions to devastating effect, and they did the needful. The rest is history. Will Chelsea do the needful by going all out for Osimhen? He is red hot. He is ready. He is on fire. He is what they need, and he is currently walking alone. What do you think will happen? Do you think Osimhen should remain in Galatasaray, or do you think he'll be better off with Chelsea or some other team that requires his services? Let us know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this documentary, the next video reveals the real story behind what profession Osimhen would have chosen if he had not become a footballer. Subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this.